Welcome back. In ensuring an all-inclusive government, Governor Ambode takes into consideration everyone irrespective of how small they contribute to the economy of the state. These words were reaffirmed by the governor at the 2016 Tradesmen and Artisans Day.
Sometimes they may be underrated or overlooked, but tradesmen and artisans are major players and the conveyor belt for industrial enterprise in Nigeria. In recognition of their contribution to the economic development of Lagos State, the present administration, through the Ministry of Wealth Creation, approved a number of support programs aimed at upgrading their skills and capacities. Today, a new set of 500 artisans who have successfully completed an 8-week intensive training program to enhance their productivity are being certified. The annual Tradesmen and Artisans Day also presents the opportunity to commend and appreciate a number of artisans and trade associations that have distinguished themselves in their vocations and activities. Governor Dateline Ambode said the informal sector remains a critical vehicle for economic recovery, adding that government was passionately committed to repositioning the sector for economic gains.
Lagos State contributes 25% to the GDP and by extension the fifth largest economy in Africa. Your training has been designed to address these skills mismatch and provide the right mix of skills needed to service the industrial needs of our state.
Governor Ambode also approved some of the requests made by the association, including the increase in the number of participants of the training program from 500 to 1,500 artisans next year. He also approved a yearly subvention of 12 million naira and a brand new operation bus for the Lagos State Council of Tradesmen and Artisans.
This year we are having 500 graduates, and the request has been made that we should increase to 1,000. We are increasing to 1,500.
The event was packaged to include the exhibition of products and services by members.
Almost 5 years past, Lagos State government have been training my members for them to take their skill to a standard level so that Lagos State will no longer be bringing foreign artisans or technicians to come and work in Lagos State.
The informal sector is where to go because that's where businesses can be boosted, that's where employability can also be boosted. And at the end of the day, if you take a look at the fact that the establishment of the Employment Trust Fund, which is a 25 billion fund at the rate of 6.25 billion, out of which a large percentage of it is targeted towards the informal sector, towards artisans who find it very difficult to access finance, and it's at 5% cheap rate. So our upskilling them, we also believe that there will be access to market.
Besides the capacity training program, the Ministry of Wealth Creation said it has designed mechanisms and platforms to monitor and ensure the sustainability of their businesses.
We have a whole department of monitoring and evaluation to monitor them after the training. Then they go through internship, they go through mentorship, and at the same time, we now introduce them to ETF, to access fund. And what the ministry is looking at concerning informal sector and micro, small and medium enterprise as a group is we're looking at to access to finance and access to market.
A total of 10,280 members of different registered associations from 55 various vocations and trades have been trained since 2009.
It has been long expected and finally it's here. The allocation of houses under the Lagos State rent-to-own and rental housing policies have been announced to take off this week. Well, this may sound like a Christmas present to many who have applied for the scheme. Here are details as presented by the Commissioner for Housing.
The Lagos State government has always been challenged by the arduous task of providing affordable and decent accommodation for its citizenry in view of the growing population. In response to the yearnings of the people, the present administration came up with a rent-to-own policy aimed at making housing readily available and accessible to all. At a press conference, the State Commissioner for Housing announced plans to start allocating houses under the newly introduced rent-to-own policy.
The rent-to-own policy targets the low and medium income earners in both the formal and informal sectors. Under this arrangement, individuals are required to pay 5% of the value of the housing unit as commitment fee, and the balance is spread over 10 years. This program allows the tenant to live on the property while paying towards ownership at the fixed rent within the period of 10 years.
A total of 12 housing estates have been dedicated for the implementation of the policy.
The estates are 1. Sir Michael Otedola Estate, Odoragunshi, Ekpe. Choice City Estate, Agbowa. Odo Onosa Housing Estate, Agbowa. Alaja Adeto Mustafa Estate, Ojokoro. Honorable Olaito Mustafa Estate, Ojokoro. Egon Igondo Housing Estate, Alimosho. Igondo Gardens, Igondo, also in Alimosho. Oba Adeboruwa Estate, Igbogbo, Ikorodu. Igbogbo 2B Housing Estate, Igbogbo, Ikorodu. Iponri Housing Estate, Iponri, in Surulere. Shangotedo Estate, Shangotedo, Etiosa. And the Ajara Housing Estate, Badagry. The policy is to be launched on the 8th of December 2016. Eligibility criteria. This is very, very important. 1. Applicant must be primarily resident in Lagos State and will be required to submit a copy of their Lagos State resident registration card. 2. Applicant must be a first-time home buyer. 3. Applicant must be 21 years old and above. 4. Applicant must be tax compliant and provide the proof of tax payment. 5. Applicant must have capacity to pay the 5% commitment fee. 6. Applicant must pass the affordability test and not more than 33% of the monthly income as rent.
He further explained the rent-to-housing policy, the procedure and requirements for participation.
The rent for the rental housing will be collected on a monthly basis. The tenants are, however, required to pay 1 month deposit. The rental housing is targeted at the working class and people with regular source of income who may not want to participate in the rent-to-own or mortgage program. Government intends to earmark 20% of the available housing units in each of the dedicated rent-to-own estates for rental housing. The rent to be paid will be determined by the prevailing rent in each of the locations, while mode of payment will be direct debit by the employer/banker to ensure easy collection.
The Commissioner promised that the selection process will be credible, fair and transparent. Questions regarding the affordability of the units, public awareness and default management were also raised.
Like for Michael Otedola, for instance, a room and parlor is 1.5 million naira. The 5% down payment is 75,000 naira. Monthly payment is 15,820 naira. That's just one of the 12 estates that we have. Definitely, we have insurance policy that will take care of first 90 days. For 90 days. Thereafter, if you cannot pay, we have to find a way out.
Over 1,000 out of 3,192 housing units in the rent-to-own and rent-to-housing program are ready to be allocated between December and the first quarter of 2017. Lagos State has about 6,000 housing units in different stages of completion in 19 schemes across the state. The state government plans to complete up to 20,000 housing units through public-private partnership.
All right, that's the program this week. We love your company and we really appreciate it. Don't forget to keep sending your thoughts and comments through our social media platforms. showing on your screen. I'm Loretta Chiogo. Bye.